Hey guys, today we have Mehboob and he's having total 5 years of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices. And guys, those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Mehboob, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you?
Yes, I'm also good. Shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Mehboob, can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
Yeah, so my name is Mehboob Jailan. I'm a Java backend developer. I'm having a total of 5 years of experience in backend development. And my coming to my recent project, it is called Rogers Communication,
Mm-hmm.
where we provide internet-based products to users like Wi-Fi, streaming, home security. And currently, I am working in a home security team where we
Mm-hmm.
provide, security cameras, monitoring system to users.
Got it, got it.
Yeah, that's it briefly about me.
Okay, thank you. So it is based on Spring Boot?
Yeah, yes. The backend systems are implemented in Java
Implemented in
Spring Boot.
Java Spring Boot. Okay. So, Mehboob,
Yeah.
let's say your current project is taking too long to start because of heavy bean initialization, right? So my question is, how
Yeah,
would you
okay.
optimize startup time?
Okay, so if it is taking longer time due to bean installation, then in Spring Boot we are having an option called at the rate lazy initialization. So when we implement lazy initialization, when the when the Spring Boot application is starting, it will create and inject only those beans which are required to start the server, and the remaining beans will get created and injected based on the requirement. So in that way, we can optimize the startup time.
Yep. That's correct. We could use lazy initialization, right? Okay, moving to the
Yeah.
next question. A REST endpoint is returning outdated cache data instead of fresh data, right? So my question is
Sorry.
how a REST endpoint, you have created a
Okay.
endpoint, right? Now it is returning
Okay.
outdated cache data instead of a fresh data.
Okay.
Okay, so how
Okay.
would you debug and fix this?
Okay. So if it is a which type of endpoint is it? Is it a get or or is it a push?
Let's assume a get endpoint.
Okay, if it is returning the if get mapping is returning outdated data, I will try to check whether they have implemented with the idea with key or not, because we can implement the caching with just using at the rate cacheable. But if we
Mm-hmm.
don't implement based on key, then it won't update the data. So I will check whether it is updated with key or not. If it is updated with key, then I will check whether whenever we are doing post or put operation, whether we are updated with the cache put or not. So that
Okay,
whenever if you use with cache put, whenever if there is any kind of updation happen, the cache manager will automatically update the cache. So in that
okay,
way, we can fix that issue.
okay. Okay, so and also we should look a TTL, time to live settings, right? And as you already told one
Yeah,
thing,
yes.
cache key, that's also correct. And
Yeah, yes.
also we should test these things with cache evict or cache manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Moving ahead, you have two Spring Boot microservices. Okay, they are
Okay,
communicating
sure.
via REST endpoints. Okay,
Okay.
one is working fine as expected. Okay,
Mhm.
one frequently times out under load.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so how would you handle this
Mhm.
situation or scenario?
So if it is going timeout due to load, I will check whether our load balancer is working properly or not. If it
Mm-hmm.
is, if the entire load is going to only one server, so it will be
Mm-hmm.
very difficult for that application to work. So we will check whether our load balance is working or not. And along with that, if our load
Mm-hmm.
balance is working fine, then we can check whatever the code we have written. We can analyze the code. Okay, whether we have implemented, for loops with order of n square. Okay, if they are there, then we need to optimize then order of n for loop so that it won't take a longer time. We can implement resilience for j for this fixing.
Yep. That's correct. We could use resilience 4J and we could use timeouts, like we can tune timeouts, right? And but yes, your answer is
Yeah, yeah.
correct. Okay. Moving ahead. Let's say you have an API that should be publicly accessible. Okay, you have
Mm-hmm.
an API
Okay.
that should be publicly accessible, but another
Okay.
endpoint should require authentication.
Okay.
So how do you
Okay.
configure this in Spring Security with Spring Boot?
Yeah. Yes. So in Spring Security, when we are implementing or overriding a security filter chain, we can implement them. So
Mm-hmm.
during this, there is a option called permit all and authenticated. So whichever the public endpoints are there, so
Mm-hmm.
by using the request matcher, we can give that endpoint and we can do like permit all so that it won't need authentication. And for
Mm-hmm.
remaining all the other endpoints, it should need authentication because we will use permit all and then we can use authenticated so that
Mm-hmm.
all the public endpoints don't need authentication.
Yep. That's correct. Okay. Hey guys, I want to share something important with you. Actually, Mehboob prepared from our interview preparation kit and cracked multiple interviews. We have also referred him to the multiple companies. So, guys, let me tell you this interview preparation kit has four main parts. First is complete interview preparation material. It is a step by step material made by me, expert and MNC's interviewers. 99% of the questions asked in interviews are covered in it. Okay. Second is two real enterprise client projects. Code and video recorded sessions are there, and you can add this in your resume. Third is lifetime chat support. Here you can ask your doubts anytime. Fourth is referral support. Here we help you to get referred to the top MNCs. Okay. So basically, the material is organized as per your experience level and covers Java, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data JPA, microservices, Kafka, Maven, Git, coding questions, Stream API coding questions, and many more. You can buy just the complete interview preparation material or the full interview preparation kit with project supports and referrals. I have added the links in the description below. So now moving to our interview. And guys, before moving to our interview, since Mehboob is here, so we can ask for feedback. So Mehboob, can you please go ahead?
Yeah, so I have prepared by using your interview preparation kit and it helped me a lot.
Okay.
Actually, I'm able to crack my interview. So yeah, thanks for that.
Okay. Thank you. Moving ahead, guys. So Mehboob, let's say your application works locally but fails to connect to the database in production. Okay.
Okay.
What steps would you take to analyze the issue and fix it?
Okay. So let me think about it 1 second. Mm, yeah. Okay. So when we are working in our local, right? So
Mhm.
whatever the in application properties, whatever the data source credentials we have given, we know
Mhm.
that it will be fine. But when we are going into prod, okay. So most of the time we don't get hard coded values. Mostly we will fetch it from from either config server or some other profiles. Okay.
Mhm.
So I will check when we are defining in the config server whether we defined the proper credentials or not.
Okay.
Okay. Then after that, if we are fetching, if we are using profiles, whether we started with the correct profile or not. Like we can have multiple profiles, right? Okay. If it is
Mhm.
going for prod, the only prod profile should be activated. So I will check whether we have activated the prod profile or some other profiles. So these two things we can do. Other things I'm not sure about them.
Yep. That's correct. And other than this, we could check SSL certificates, connection pool size, right? And logs as you have
Yeah. Okay.
already told this. Okay. Now moving
Yeah.
ahead. Mehboob, one of your API takes too long because it loads a large data set. Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you improve the performance?
So if the API is slow due to the large data, then we can implement pagination. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
we implement pagination, so instead of sending the enter data, we can send the data in chunks based
Mm-hmm.
on the user request. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In pagination, there is we will have, what is the page size and what is the page number. Based
Mm-hmm.
on that, we will fetch only that particular data and we will send that one. In that way, we can avoid this issue.
Okay, that's correct. Moving ahead, let's say you have sensitive configs, maybe DB passwords, maybe API keys in application properties or application YAML, right? So my question is,
Mhm.
how would you secure them?
Okay, so in this scenario, it is. The better way is we won't store actual values in our application or properties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So rather than this, we will
Mm-hmm.
have our config server separately. Okay.
Okay.
In that config server, we will store all these kinds of values. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever we are starting our server, our application will fetch those values from that config server,
Mm-hmm.
and then it will use to start the application. So this is one way. Another one way is if you are using K8s to deploy your application.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Inside K8s, we will define those variables and we can paste the placeholders in our application dot properties. Okay. And when we are going to start our application, so the K8s will map those fields by using config maps, and it will inject those values. So in that way, we can protect our values
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep, yep,
properties,
yep.
we can say.
Okay, cool. Moving ahead, a scheduled job in your Spring Boot application is running twice in production, even though you have deployed only once. What
Hmm.
might be happening?
Okay, so are you saying about a Spring Batch processing,
No, no,
or is it
scheduled
scheduling?
jobs. Yep.
Okay, scheduled jobs. Okay, so in that case, so I will check in by using which method I have deployed it, whether I have used a fixed rate or fixed delay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In
Mm-hmm.
this scenario, whatever we defined, there is a most probably there should not be a possibility of executing that job multiple times. But if we deployed by using cron job, we will give the cron command. Okay. If there is anything issue in that cron command, there is a chance of executing that job multiple times. So I will try to fix that cron job, and it will fix the issue.
Yep, yep, that's correct. And also, one more thing I would like to highlight. We can also check whether multiple application instances running, right?
Oh,
Or
okay, yeah.
multiple schedulers enabled, right? And also what you have already told us. Okay. Okay. So your REST API allows file uploads, but user complain about large file failing silently.
Mhm.
Okay. So how would you fix this issue?
So, sorry.
Yep.
So, in Spring Boot application.properties, we can define one key value, Spring
Mm-hmm.
Max file upload. Okay. So, inbuilt, I think the Spring Boot supports 1 MB file. Okay. I guess so. I'm not sure, I guess. But if user is trying to upload, huge size file, okay, then we need to manually define to Spring Boot that you can allow this much of file size in application or properties. Okay. And this way we can fix this issue.
Yep, yep, yep. That's correct. We can define our maximum file size or maximum
Fine.
request size, right?
Yeah, fine.
It could be done
Yes.
like spring.servlet.multipart hyphen max hyphen
Multi-part. Fine. Yes.
something like that. Okay. Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Moving ahead. After Spring Boot version upgradation, okay, after upgrading Spring Boot
Okay.
version, your custom bean stopped working because a default bean started overriding it. So how would you fix this issue?
Okay. Mm, sir, oh, okay. So like I haven't tried this one. Okay, but what
Mhm,
my procedure will be, first I will try to go through a little bit of documentation of that new version,
mhm,
and I will try to check whether if any of the like whatever I have used, whether any of them is got deprecated or not. Okay, if it gets deprecated, then I will try to convert. I will try to change them by using the whatever the newly updated one. This is one thing we can do. Yeah, actually, like I'm not sure about this. Like, how can we fix it? But this is one thing I will do. But
okay. Uh, I think you have already know the answers, but let me tell you. We could use primary qualifier or disable auto configuration.
oh, that is for like to to
We
fix which
can,
bean we need to use, right?
yeah,
At the
let's
date primary
say
or at the date
our
qualifier.
custom bean stopped working because the default bean started overriding it, right?
Ah,
Uh,
yeah.
we
Okay,
can
okay,
disable the
yeah.
default bean by excluding, or we can make our bean primary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know this foundation with that work, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay, fine.
said
Yeah,
you
thanks for the
already
information.
knew the answers.
Yeah.
Okay, moving ahead. Your API endpoint returns an empty JSON response, even though the DB has data. Okay, what would be the
Okay.
possible causes?
Oh, okay. So in possible causes, so first thing will be in most of the enterprise application, when we sending data to customer, we won't send the entire data. We will use DTOs and we will send only the required data to user. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we will map them by using the actual data from DB and we will send it to user. I will check whether during that mapping, whatever the fields we are sending to user, okay, whether they are getting actual data from DB or they are getting set with null. That one thing can do. And another thing I can check in our DTO files, whatever the annotations I have mentioned, there is an
Mm-hmm.
annotation called JSON include non-null. In sometimes even the JSON itself it will exclude some fields if it didn't find the value. So I can check whether it is working as expected or not.
Okay, cool. So yes, that is correct, and we could also check Jackson serialization issues, missing getters. That's a
Yeah,
basic one. I mean,
yeah.
yep. Moving ahead. In your system, you have 10 Spring Boot microservices, right? And
Okay.
managing configurations like DB URLs, feature flags, etc. separately has become painful. You got it? So
Yeah, yeah.
how would you handle centralized configuration management?
Yeah, so sorry.
Yep.
So I will implement one particular service as a config server. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that config server will have all the DB configuration, all the required properties as per our requirement. Okay, and none of other applications will have those. And I will use that beans. And our application, whenever they need to start, they will fetch those values from that config server only. In that way, whenever we need to update or we need to change any kind of fields, we can able to go and change in only one application rather than updating in all the 10 servers.
Yep. That's correct. Okay. So can you tell me how would you design the checkout process for an e-commerce platform? Right, like cart, payment, order, inventory update by using Spring Boot microservices. Just answer
Okay,
me in
so
brief. You don't have to answer
yeah,
it with too much details.
yeah, so yeah, so first of all, user will logs into e-commerce application.
Mm,
Then first of all, he will add the item to cart. Okay, then cart operation will get performed, and he will
mm,
able to see all his product details in the cart. Then he
okay.
will go to the payment options. Okay,
Mm, mm,
there we will implement our payment service separately. Okay, and then wherever whatever method of payment he choose. Okay, by
mm,
using that we will he will do that payment. Once the payment is done, I will move to the order page where I will confirm his order. Okay. Then after that, I will move it to a kind of notification service where we will send the order confirmation to the user.
mm. Yes, correct. Okay. Moving ahead. Can you tell me what happens if two auto configuration classes defines the same bean?
Define the same bean in the sense. Can you come again, please?
Like there are two auto configuration classes. Okay, that has the same bean,
Okay.
and you are,
Oh,
oh,
okay. Okay.
yes, because since they will, I mean, we have by using Spring Boot application rotation, we are just doing auto configuration, right? So, but two
Yeah,
auto
yes.
configuration classes have same bean, so like, it will work on which bean it will fetch which bean. So, like, I'm just asking what would.
Okay. For that one, we are having that added primary and added qualifier
Mhm,
annotation.
mhm.
Okay. If we are having
But
multiple beans of same type,
before adding that, what would happen?
if you don't add,
It will
our
throw
Spring
an
Boot
error.
application
I
itself
just
won't
want to
start,
know
right?
about
It
that
will throw
error.
an error. Yes. So yeah, if Spring Boot will throw an error, the application won't start.
Mhm. Yep. Spring Boot basically will throw an error. It's a bean definition override exception.
Okay, you want me to tell the name of that exception?
Yep. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, it's fine
okay.
if you don't know. Okay, so what happens if no active profile is set in Spring Boot?
So if no active profile set in Spring Boot, then like by default we'll be having application.properties file, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it will fetch data from that file.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that file, then Spring Boot will start giving us errors.
Okay. Okay, so tell me what happens if you define two Spring Data JPA repositories for the same entity.
Uh, Same entity for repository for same entity.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Uh, Sorry, no idea on this one.
Yeah, it's
I
fine. It causes
Yeah.
bean definition exception.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yep. And how
Okay.
can we resolve this bean conflicts? We must use qualifier
Yeah, bin
annotation.
conflict for primary and qualifier.
Mm.
By using this, we can resolve bin conflicts there.
Yep. Okay, so tell me what happens if you annotate a class with both controller and rest controller annotation.
Okay. So, sorry. So, at the rest controller is like on top of at the rate controller annotation. So, it is
Mm-hmm.
a combination of at the rate controller and the response body. So, if we define at the rate controller and the rest controller for the same class, I don't think it will create an issue. It will work as a REST controller itself because at the REST controller is on top of the controller.
Mm. That's correct. It will be like two controller and one response body, right? Two
Yeah,
controller
yes.
annotation. Yeah, it will work fine.
But it works as a normal at the REST controller.
Yep, at the rate rest controller. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Moving to some core Java, uh, uh, I mean things. Can you tell me why is string immutable in our Java programming language?
Yeah. One is security so that no one can corrupt the data. Another one
Mm-hmm.
is memory management because if we are defining a string literals,
Mm-hmm.
assume I define string literal string x1 equal to Java. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if it is not available in a string pool, so Java will create inside that pool. And then in future, if I define string s2 equals also Java, okay,
Mm-hmm.
then it won't create Java again. The s2 also will point to the same string. So there is this memory management is there and the security because no, it is not easy to corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
So these two are the important reasons for immutability of string.
Yep. Okay, tell me if you want a mutable version of a string, what would you use?
Yeah. Yeah, in string there are two. Sorry, in Java there are two possibility for them. One is string builder, and the
Mm,
one string buffer.
okay.
Both will gives us a mutable strings option. But
Mm-hmm.
there is one difference is string builder is not thread safe, but string buffer is
Mm-hmm.
thread safe.
Correct. Can you tell me how does hashmap work internally? Uh, Tell me two internal working of hashmap before Java 8 and after Java 8.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure with that what is before Java and after Java, but I
Okay.
know how it works.
Yep. Tell me after Java 8.
Sorry. So whenever we try to save the data in a hash map,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Now based on our key, first it will calculate the hash code for that key, okay, and then it will calculate what is the bucket value for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, once the calculation is done, the value will goes and sit into that particular bucket. Yeah, is that fine?
Sorry, I lost you last 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I told you
Okay, okay.
regarding that
Okay.
hash
And
code
what
and bucket.
about when we are inserting any element, when we are putting any element, where it is getting stored? In a linked
Where we
list,
are
red
getting.
black tree, or something like that? Do you know?
Yeah, yeah. So whenever is a hash collision happen, right? Hash collision
Mm-hmm.
in the sense if multiple keys, pointing to the same bucket,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then Java what will do is for that one bucket it will convert into a linked list of size I guess 8. Okay, so up to the size 8 it will store the values in there, and if it is reached more than 8, then it will convert that linked list to red black tree, and it will
Mm-hmm.
start saving that data.
Okay, okay. Yes, yes, that's correct. And the major difference between Java, I mean, prior to Java 8 and after Java 8 is this tree. I mean, before Java 8, we
Oh,
just used to store the things in the linked list only. There were no trification, means converting linked list to tree.
oh, okay,
Okay.
okay,
We had just
okay,
optimized things after Java 8. Okay.
okay, okay.
Can you tell me how does this concurrent hash map handle concurrency different than, and like we know it is different than hash map. So like in what parameters it is different than hash map and how it is handling concurrency.
Okay, so concurrent hashmap handling concurrency based on key value pair. Okay,
Okay.
so whenever a thread is accessing a particular key value pair, okay,
Mm-hmm.
concurrent hashmap will set the log on that particular key value pair only. That means
Mm-hmm.
each key value pair will be accessed by one thread at a time. The
Mm-hmm.
remaining threads can access other key value pairs, but not the logged key value pair. Okay. In this case, we can say that each key value pair is getting manipulated by only one thread at a time. Okay, so that it will maintain the concurrency and thread safe.
Okay. Got it. That's correct. How does, I mean, how are static variables stored in memory compared to the instance variables?
Uh, okay, so in you are saying like memory save, right?
Yep, yep.
How they are, whether it is in stack or heap.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep.
Okay, so yeah, like static variables are related to class, not objects.
Mm-hmm.
So I heap is to stack. So I guess those variables will be saved in stack, I guess, but because heap is used to store the objects.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess so because like I'm not sure about memory how memory works exactly.
Okay, no, it's fine. Stack variable lives in method area, class loader memory, instance variables in a heap inside objects. Okay,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
okay. Uh, do you know about the design patterns in Java?
Yeah, so yes, design pattern is used to give a proper solution to a common problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the code, it is the way how you code.
Okay.
There are different types of design patterns like a creational, structural, and behavior. Okay. So coming to creational behavioral design pattern, these are what I have used. Okay, we are having multiple like builder pattern is there,
Mm-hmm.
factory design is there, abstract
What
factory is
builder
there.
pattern does?
Okay, so assume you are having a class and it is having lot of optional variables.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are creating object, you want to create that object with only few variables.
Okay.
And if you are having only one or two scenario, then you can create only two constructor for that one. But in future, if you are getting other requirements and for each requirement you need to create constructor, it will be a tedious task. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
builder pattern will resolve this issue. Okay,
Okay.
by using the builder pattern, we can create the objects by giving only the fields whichever we wanted. Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
need to create construct each constructor for each kind of requirement. That's how it resolves that issue.
Cool, cool. And what about singleton design pattern?
Yeah. So coming to singleton design pattern, uh, it will uh, it will say like each class will have only one object at a time. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that object will be used in our entire application.
Okay. Got it. Can you tell me the difference between lazy singleton implementation and eager singleton implementation?
Oh, a lazy singleton eager. Mm, Okay, like in Java, lazy and eager means whenever we are starting the application, during that application itself, it will
Hmm.
create that object that is eager. If lazy means whenever we asked for that particular object, then only
Hmm.
it will get created.
Okay, that's correct.
So mostly, I guess it will be same scenario here also.
Same scenario, but you know the implementations of singleton design patterns. We have 4 or 5 implementations. Like one is enum based implementation of singleton design
Yes,
pattern.
yes.
One
One is
is
enum,
double
another one is by
locking.
using the yeah.
Okay, which one is the best?
By enum is the best because the enum by default it's that safe.
Yep, enum is by default thread safe. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say if someone asks you to write the code of singleton design pattern, best way of singleton design pattern. So what would you write? Say enum based or double locking?
So mostly I will prefer to create enum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it will provide us all the requirement, like it will provide us constructor, we can have
Mm-hmm.
fields as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if we create enum, we no need to worry about using that synchronized blocks for creation
Mm-hmm.
of object also, because if we create a normal class object, then in the creation method we need to use synchronized, but in enum we can avoid that one also.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep,
I
yep,
will
that's
prefer
correct.
creating with enum.
Yep, yep. Okay. Have you ever get a chance to design immutable class?
So I haven't created one, but I know what is an immutable class. I can tell you.
Yep, yep, please
So
go ahead.
immutable class. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm saying go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we say a class immutable is whenever you created an object, okay, once you create it, after that it is not able to modify that object. Such kind of classes we can call it as immutable classes. Okay. And to create immutable classes, we need to follow steps. So first of all, our class should be final so that no one should be overridden. Okay. And our all fields should be final and private. Okay, and then we will we should provide only the argumented constructor parameter constructor. We should not provide default constructor,
Mm-hmm.
and we should not provide setters also. We should provide only getters. So in
Yep,
that
yep.
way we can create an immutable class.
Yep, yep, yep. That's correct. Okay, so Mehboob, it's done for me, and yes, it was a very, very nice interview.